Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's your girl Bash. I wanted this to be my first video of 2025. I'm doing like a date night kind of look. So we all know that the first step is moisturizing, right? At this point you should. So for my moisturizer, I'll be using the advanced snail all-in-one cream. Every product that I'm going to be using, you can always get that in my description box. Remember, you have to moisturize every part of your face. Moisturizer helps to keep your makeup hydrated throughout the entire day. So make sure that you massage everything into the skin, underneath your eyes, everywhere. You can even bring it down to your neck. Then once you're done using the brush, you use your hand, then you massage it further. It has to sink into the skin. So how have you all been doing? What's going on? Please gist me in the comment section. How is this economy you? If you're in Nigeria, what's up? I was going through my analytics and I realized that most of my audience are from UK and US, and I'm like, where are my Lagos baddies? So for primer, I'll be using the MAC Studio Radiance primer. Primer helps to grip your foundation. Apply it every other place. I can actually apply this under my eyes because, like I said, this is a moisturizing primer. Remember the rule: every product have to dry in before you move on to the next product. So I'm going to use my fingers again to massage that properly. For my second primer, I'll be using the metics aqua grip primer on my forehead area and my nose. And if you're putting products on your nose, please be very, very careful, because if you pack too much product on your nose, it's going to cake so fast. Whether you're putting on foundation, you're putting on skin prep, you're putting on concealer, powder, always be careful of the amount of products. I don't like applying hydro grip primer here on my eyelid. If I forget to apply on my eyeshadow primer, it makes my eyeshadow very, very sticky. This is like a personal thing that I noticed. So just on my brow, but not on my eyelid. I can even feel it getting tacky. That is the way you know that your face is ready for what? Foundation. So for foundation, I'll be using the V Beauty foundation in the shade Maroon and V Chestnut. So I'll be mixing these two to get my perfect skin shade. I'm using a damp beauty blender, beauty sponge, not wet. Please put it inside water, squeeze it. That way it is damp and not wet. Don't use a lot of product. Just start with something very, very small. Then if you need to add, then you can add. But don't start off with like a lot of products, because it is going to be very difficult for you to blend. Remember what I said about putting too much product on the nose. For contour, I'll be using the same V Beauty matte foundation in the shade Ebony. Then using the same part that I used for my foundation, I'll blend that in. Please tap, not swipe. Tap, tap, tap. Tap, 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 tap. I'm going to use the leftover on my jaw area just to create shadows, then blend it in. Then for my blush, I'll be using the Bechamp Ageless Lip Palette. This one. So usually if I take product, I apply it straight to my cheek, but sometimes I realize that it leaves patches. So what I do now is, once I take the product, I blend it out on my mixing tray. Can you see that? Then I will use my beauty blender, the same part that I used for my contour, my foundation, then apply. That way everything is evenly distributed. Can you see the difference? So for concealer, I'll be using the Avour liquid concealer in the shade 50. To further highlight and brighten my under eye, I'll be using the same Avour Cosmetics in the shade 40. I won't be using this all over my face, just underneath my eyes. You have to be very careful when applying your second concealer. If not, it's going to lift your previous concealer. So to be on the safe side, just apply it on your palm or your mixing tray, then using the beauty blender, taking and then going straight. So for my nose contour, I'll be using the same V Beauty that I used for my contour and an angled brush. My favorite part of makeup is skin work, skin prep, skin whatever, foundation, concealer, but I'm obsessed with nose contour. I love my nose to the guts, snatched from the bridge of your nose. You bring it down. Once you're done outlining, you get a paper towel, then you clean up the excess on your brush, then you use it to blend. You tap, not sweep. The key to getting a cute snatched nose is in the blender. I will go in with my beauty blender, the same place that I use for the contour, the foundation, the blush. I will use it and blend as well. Now that I'm done with my skin, foundation, concealer, I'll be using the Kiss Beauty Fix It spray to set all of that in. Now that my face is properly dried, I can go ahead and apply my setting powder. But before that, I need to blend out these creases underneath my eyes, because once I use my setting powder, I am going to set that in place. And we don't want that, okay? For setting powder, I'll be using the Me Now Luxury setting powder in the shade Banana. You think that maybe because you wasted time, maybe you are doing other things and your under eye is too dry, just take that brightening concealer or any concealer that you use, but don't go direct. Then take your beauty blender, the side I use for concealer, take a little bit, just a little. This is what I have, very little. I'm also going to blend my smile lines again. So when you want to set, if you take your setting powder, this is a lot. What we are doing is one layer per time. Take off the excess, you're left with one layer. You can go in and set now. If you feel like you need more, you can take more. Do the same thing, shake off the excess, then apply. So you take the same setting powder, you shake off, then you apply on the rest of your face that you use your concealer. To set the rest of my face, I'll be using the Milani powder in the shade 109. You're using a fluffy brush for your powder application. You're not dipping in, you're using from the side. Can you say that? From the side. For my contour, I'll be using an angled brush, a dark shade. For my nose contour, I'll be using a very fluffy brush. And instead of using 2 shades darker for my nose contour, I would use just 1 shade darker because I don't like my nose overly too dark. And because I already did my cream contour, it is still there. I will use the 2 shade darker just here, just on the bridge of my nose. Blend that into my brows, then I will use a shade darker on the sides of my nose. Always remember to blend. So for my blush, I'll be using the CPD blush palette. Remember, always take less. Then if you need to build that up, if you need to add, you can always go ahead to add more. I'm going to put the leftover product on my nose, just a little bit. I'll be using the Mirror Cosmetics in the shade Curry. I will use that to bake. This is going to serve as both for baking and also to catch fallouts when I'm doing my eyeshadow. So it lifts that up. For my brows, I'll be using the Bromatic by Damel. It has like a brown tint to it. I will use it to slick up my brows and keep that in place. This Bromatic by Damel, the one that has the brown tint, is suitable if you're dark skin. But if you're light skin, please get the clear one. Because if you're light skin and you use this dark one, it's going to darken your brows. Yeah. So for my brows, I'll be mixing the Cosrx gel liner in black and brown. I'm going to mix the two of them to get the perfect brown shade that I'm going for. I'm going to take more of the brown and a little bit of the black. And a little bit of the black. My angled brush from Miracle Cosmetics. I will be doing my brows off camera. I already have a detailed video on how to do brows, so you can just watch that after this. That I am done with my eye look and everything. I'm going to use a very fluffy brush, very fluffy, and dust off my under eye. Remember, I have fallout of eyeshadow, I have fallout from pigments. I'm going to dust off gently, not sweep, just gently. But if I don't have any fallout, I will just press that baking powder into the skin. Do you get it? That I am done dusting off. You can see even the brush that I used to dust off, you can barely see any products there. That is why I'm saying you're using just the tip. So now that I am done dusting off, I will now press that setting powder into my skin and also the rest of my face. I'll go back to my beauty blender and further blend that. Achalogo is ready. Please be very gentle, because if you go too hard, you're going to lift product. To use my powder puff and with just a little amount of powder in it, and just amplify that eye lift. Then I'll go back using my beauty blender and blend that in. Makeup is not really as hard as people think. Yeah, it is quite hard, but the more you practice, the better you get. To finish up this look, I'll be using my Nuban Beauty Makeup Fixing Setting Spray to like make all that powder effect look like skin. Let that dry. So now that my face is properly dry, I'll be using the Nuban Beauty The Glow. It's a very fluffy brush, very fluffy. I will take a little bit, dust it off, then apply on the high point of your face, which is your cheekbone. Remember, the goal is to what? Blind their enemies. So I'm going to put that here. And one thing I like about glow is because when you're facing front, you don't really see it until you turn and the light hits it. So I'm gonna do the same thing here. Then using my fingers, I'm gonna dip into the container and take a little bit and apply it just on my nose. Be very careful so you don't lift product. Then I'll blend it in. Then using Miss Metics Dewy Highlighting Balm in the shade Glazed. Like I said, the goal is to what? Blind their enemies, let them die, period. This is what it looks like. So I don't really like going directly. So I'm going to take a little bit of that, smoothen it out, then use my beauty blender, tap that, and then apply. If I feel like I need more, because I already smoothened it, just gently, then on your forehead. Now, if anybody see you and they are an enemy, they're gonna So to seal my makeup, I'll be using the So Pro Slit Fixing Spray. Instead of applying my gloss directly, clean off, because when I apply that So Pro, it's going to make my lip tacky. So I'm going to clean that off. So now that I am done with my lashes, not as perfect as I would want it to be, but obviously better than it used to be. Okay, like I said, practice makes perfect. So for my lip, I'll be using this brown. This is the same palette that I used for my blush. Like I said, I don't like overlining, just a little bit. And I'll blend that in. I'll be using this nude shade. I like to use a brush to apply my gloss. That way I can control it. Oof. The shade of lipstick that I have on my lip currently is the same exact shade with the gloss. Then I'll be using the Absolute gloss on the brown part. So to finish up the look, I love to go over my lip liner again. So using the same brown, I will just take a little bit, just pop. I would amplify that brown again. Then I will use the brush that I use for my gloss and blend everything in. Once I'm done, I love to use my spoolie and brush up the beginning part of my brows. So guys, this is the completed look. Tell me what you think. I hope you like that. If you have any makeup related questions, always drop it in the comment section and I'm going to leave a reply. Like, comment, share and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.